The Film Crickets are intended for mature audiences. Any guests on the Film Crickets do not necessarily share the same opinions as the Film Crickets. It's time for the Film Crickets with Jay Fortier, Chris Martineau, and Melanie Howerton. On this week's episode, the Crickets are doing a creature double feature, starting with the 1986 American science fiction horror comedy film Night of the Creeps, and the 1984 American science fiction comedy horror film Night of the Comet.
Stay tuned, because strange things are happening on the Creature Double Feature. Next on 56.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, 56.
Let's find out.
That's awesome.
Crickets are on now.
Love
Wow.
it. That was
That's
great.
a pull. That's a deep pull right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
baby. Now,
Really
well, welcome to the Film Crickets, everybody. My name is Jay Fortier, along with my good friend Chris Martineau. How you doing, man?
Hello, sir. What's happening?
All right, and along with my good friend and co-host Melanie Howerton. How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing tonight?
Super.
Doing well. How cool is that? Steve pulled out the Creature Double Feature sound from YouTube there. Now, normally I don't like to be very localized. Like, obviously you, me, and you guys are on we're different parts of the East Coast. We
Yeah.
are all raised in the Northeast. But I don't always like to just because I want fans from all around. I don't want them to feel like, oh, those people, they're just stuck in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's really cool sometimes when we get little references to our past. That is, we grew up on something, it was on Channel 56, UHF. It was Creature Double Feature every Saturday afternoon.
Yep.
And I lived for it, man.
Yep.
I lived for it. And that's kind of like what was like some of my gateway into horror.
Sure, I agree.
Yeah,
You see, like, giant monsters in slime fighting other giant monsters that breathe fire. And if anybody, there's a lot of Godzilla, and there's a lot of that, like
yeah.
the kaiju stuff. But boy, if anybody try to watch one of those recently, they make no sense.
Boring.
No sense at all, and they're boring. Like what? But they're classics. I enjoy it, sort of, but I can't last too long because it's like, what is happening with this? Oh, good call. UHF Ultra. High fidelity. Ultra. Not very high. That's VHF. No. UHF. Ultra high. But it was the shittiest. It was the shittiest TV signal ever.
Well,
it was
it still
all static.
entertained us.
Did you guys have to stand in different parts of the room if you were trying to get a UHF channel?
No,
Like if somebody walked
with the bunny ears.
yeah. Like if you walked in the room, like it'd screw up the reception. Like I had been on like stand in the corner duty so that someone could watch like the Bruins on 38. Like no, don't move, stand there, so that we actually get like reception. We can watch snowy hockey players. It's ridiculous.
That's funny.
Oh my god. So hey, so we have a double feature. So we're gonna try to do the truncated version. We're gonna go through. We're not gonna talk faster. We're not gonna do micro machines. But we're gonna try to get through 2 movies, and it's the night of the evening. And
I know.
Steve didn't know. Melanie and I called an audible right before we started recording. We said we're going to do Night of the Comet first and Night of the Creep second. And so sorry, Steve. I appreciate Steve's work, but we called an audible, and for reasons that we'll get to later. So, guys, I loved watching these 2 movies. It was interesting to see. They were both kind of snapshots of the 80s, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially 1986. Both of them.
Yeah. Well, one's 84, is it not? Or am I wrong?
No, I'm
You're
pretty
right
sure
now.
they were both 86.
Really?
Well, look.
I have. All right, IMDb says
Thanks to
84
the-
for Comet, but
Oh, really?
yeah, whatever.
No,
doesn't
it's
matter.
got to be after, because they mentioned. I have something in my trivia where they're mentioning Monster Squad, and Monster Squad was in '87.
Right, and that was the Monster Squad is on the wall in Night of the Creeps, and the same.
Yeah.
No, it says
director and
84.
writer.
You're right.
Yeah,
84.
So whatever. Doesn't
That's
matter.
so
Doesn't
weird.
matter. So,
Okay.
so the fact of the matter is, I like seeing this. One of them is a snapshot of the '80s, and one of them I don't know that it is. It's kind of an interesting bit. So, hey, Night of the Comet. We're going to start with Night of the Comet. We usually do the what's your history with this movie. I'll go first. Never seen it. I knew it existed. I know what it's about. Never sat down with it. I think my friend Brian asked me like every now and then, hey, what movie you want to watch? And he'd bring up Night of the Comet, and I never watched it. So first time ever was the other day. So that's it. No pilfered copy, no pirated copy. You guys, so like, what's your history? Melanie, do you own this?
I do.
Oh my gosh, shocker.
I own both Night of the Creeps and Night of the Comet, and I always liked both growing up, and
okay.
So I've just you know, me and my mom, of course, would watch it whenever it would come on. But we'll talk more about it later. But yeah, I've definitely have seen these many times.
Okay. I was just talking Night of the Comet, but so might as well while we're here. I never have seen Night of the Creeps, but I've heard about it quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I've seen it on all the horror documentaries, but I never sat down to watch it because it seemed like it was kind of silly, and I was humbly surprised with that movie. So, Jay, what's your history?
I will tell you before Jay says something.
Yep.
Before I was even on the show, I kept bugging Jay. I'm like, you guys got to do a creature double feature and do Night of the Comet, Night of the Creeps. So I've been asking Jay to do it forever. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to do, and I'm so glad that he wanted to do it.
All right, so this has been percolating a while in the film cricket.
She also
lore.
mentioned it during Christine.
That's true. That's right.
That's right.
She mentioned it. You mentioned it during our Christine episode, and I was like, or it was Aliens, one of the two.
So you're like, you know what, fuck it, let's just do it. God, stop it with this. No, I'm kidding. All right, Jason.
But like once we had sometimes I don't like to experiment when it comes to like having guests, like, you know what I mean, like especially we're gonna do we're doing a double and we've never done that before, so like let's just have the three of us and we'll figure it all out together. And I might as well tell you on both, like, and then we won't do the what's your history with on the second movie.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we'll just keep going. So I'm going to say that Night of the Comet I saw quite a few times, I think, on cable. I liked it a lot in 1985 or whatever. Like I said, we just discovered it was from '84. So I always had fun with it because it was like a lighter fare version of the Omega Man or I Am Legend. So like it had a lighter vibe to it. And that's cool too. So the other one I'd never seen. I always heard of it, but never like leaned in that direction. And we'll get to what I thought of it, but I'm just saying I never saw it before, and that's really all I got.
Super. All right. Okay. So we're gonna break down Night of the Comet. Let's go to the IMDb on Night of the Comet. So Night of the Comet came out in 1984. It says it's rated PG-13. I don't know that that's a thing yet, but whatever. Comes in an hour and 35 minutes. One sentence synopsis says, a comet wipes out most of life on Earth, leaving two valley girls fighting against cannibal zombies and a sinister group of scientists. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Director is Tom Eberhardt, written by Tom Eberhardt, starring Catherine Mary Stewart, who is fantastic. She's the girlfriend in Last Starfighter. It's fantastic. Kelly Maroney is in this. She's a horror movie. She's been in a bunch of them. Jeffrey Lewis is Dr. Carter. We saw him in Double Impact and many other things. And no one else really, I didn't think of note that I need to mention. So let's get into Night of the Comet. So, guys, so this is 1984. They say they're Valley Girls, and then we have one of them is dressed up as a cheerleader, and they say they're in the valley, right? And there's a lot of like cheerleader and a lot of spoiled brat stuff coming on. This movie is obviously saying if you put if it's Omega Man, if everybody else on the planet disappeared except two teenage girls, the first thing that they would do once they realized they were safe is go shopping. Now, is go to the mall. Now, is it safe to say that someone making an indictment on like Reagan era economics, like while they're in it? Or is there something else going on here? Like, I thought that was interesting that it's like right out of the gate, the 80s is super capitalism, commercialism going out of control. Am I nuts or what? What's your vibe on that?
Okay, well, this is a piece of my trivia. While writing the screenplay, the producer, Tom Eberhardt, He went around and asked a bunch of teenagers, like, what would you do if this was the end of the world?
Yep.
To get all of their opinions of what they would do, and that's why you have the mall scene.
Mm-hmm.
This is what actually people said.
So so basically what it's saying is he's allowing the public or the people that he asked to give the vibe of the movie, and the vibe of the movie is we'd go buy shit. It's basically Dawn of the Dead. You don't have to
buy it; it's all free.
Yeah, just take it.
I think every teenage girl has had that dream where you're like, remember those things a long time ago where you'd see, like, it was like, I don't know what it was. It was something that somebody would win, and it was like, guess what? You won this free shopping spree, and they would have this big cart, and you could go through the mall and put all this stuff in it, and you were all excited. I mean, so I kind of feel like that was kind of around the same time this movie came out. So people were probably like, I would just go to the mall. You could just do whatever you want and just grab everything. And like, especially that guy at the end, which I have something about him too, but he was like, oh, you like my card? Thank you. I have 23 of them. You know?
Yes. And he says it so quickly. Like, just not because he is the last dude. So it's just, and
wasn't his name DMK. Like on the...
Yeah, I have that. Yeah.
His name was on the license plate, right? Or
DMK. So remember when she was in the arcade and she kept playing the arcade game and being her?
Yes.
And she was like, who is this? This is really annoying. Do you know anybody that's called DMK? And so apparently the producer was being asked throughout the entire film, who is this DMK guy? And he hadn't written him into the script at all. So he thought at the very end he was going to put that license plate on that guy, which was Danny Mason, Keener. He put that license plate on the bottom to shut everybody up that kept asking him, okay, well, who is he? So.
I like that part because this movie has a lot going for it. I think it kind of it misses the mark on a couple of occasions, but the fact that you have that scene at the end where, you know, he says so very quickly, like, oh, I got 23 of them. Yeah. And it's said as kind of a joke line, and it's great. Or the fact that they're all waiting for the signal to change before they go because rules are rules. Yeah. Like, and then the moment she comes out, she almost gets hit by a car. That's funny. And like, there's a lot of humor in this. At one point, the ladies realize that everyone has been turned to dust or are turning into zombies. One of the two. Yeah. Go figure. And they say, well, we got to get some weapons. And they say, well, Dad works at a military base. Let's just go there, get some guns, and come back. We don't actually see that trip. That doesn't matter. I'm willing to accept it. And she's firing a machine gun, and one of them said, Dad would have gotten us an Uzi. Like, it was funny. Like, it could have been, it's campy, but it's a funny line. And I appreciate that line because the movie's picking on itself. It's picking on the fact that, wait, the first thing you're going to do is go shopping? The first thing you do is worry about what machine gun you have. I
always remembered the sister talking to the other sister, and she's like, why are you upset? And she's like, okay, so my sister, who's always gotten every guy that I've ever had my eye on, has just now, like, whatever she said, like, snatched the last guy on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and then pushes her, and then they both start laughing after, it's like the tension is over. I do like, it's one of those things where, obviously, if this was real, we'd all be, like down in the dumps, depressed because we just lost like everybody else on Earth except for one person, right? Like, you know, she didn't lose her sister, but she lost her dad, and she lost other people that maybe she loved. So, but they don't harp on that long. You know, it's just one night where she's just sort of staring. You know, like, so I think that's kind of cool. Like, so it takes you more into the fun aspect, not that the full thing is fun, but like it lightens it up and it keeps you going in the movie for as far as the pacing. So I mean, because think about it, like maybe the girls would fantasize about getting anything they want, and guys would too, but guys would also love to just cruise the streets with nobody on it.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Like in a car that's fast, you know, it's like, aha, nobody's coming off. I can run these lights. Like when I was a kid, I remember being in a department store, I'd put the skateboards down and I'd like go in the aisle a little bit, and it was the smoothest surface ever. And I'd be like, oh, I'd love to ride this whole store. Like, you know, like nobody in it. Like just because like, you know, so I get it. Like, you know, and they make you feel that.
Right.
And I would have loved to have gone to the mall and just grabbed everything I could get my hands on. And
everything must go.
So fun. Of course, they play Girls Just Want to Have Fun. you know, by Cyndi Lauper at the same time. And it's
Or knockoff. It sounded like a knockoff Cyndi Lauper.
It was this. Yeah, it wasn't Cyndi herself, but it was the song.
Yeah.
But it's also saying, like, it's the whole deal with Dawn of the Dead. Like, once you become a zombie, what's the first thing you want to do? Well, you're going to do the thing that's ingrained in your brain, and that's go wander around the mall. So in Dawn of the Dead, you have, like, zombies walking around with toasters.
That was Dawn?
That was Dawn of the Dead. The 70s one, yeah. So they're walking around with a toaster because all they understand is, that's what Romero is saying about commercialism. Like, it just gets you down to the point where I just need to buy stuff. But the movie doesn't. But the movie doesn't give it to you heavy-handed. It's just saying this is the Valley Girl culture, if not America's culture, that we're gonna go and, you know, get this stuff, and also the idea of defending your own. Now wait a minute though. Now, Jay, you mentioned pacing, and the movie is paced well, and it takes a lot of risks, I think, in terms of editing and what's going on with the story. And other movies, I would have been like, what the fuck is going on? But this movie, I bought it, and I'm meaning this. First of all, the synopsis was right. A comet comes by, it turns people to dust. Why? Doesn't matter. Turns other people into zombies. Why? Doesn't really matter. And
it
we
have why though. You know why? You know
why?
Why
I forgot. Why? Why do they turn into zombies?
The people that are turned to dust are the ones that are just completely 100% exposed.
Oh, that's right.
The ones that turn into zombies, they weren't completely exposed, but just enough.
That's right.
And then they'll end up, you know, turning that way, and then they were saved because they were inside of like a complete metal
steel.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I forgot. So, but anyway, that's still bonkers. Like, some people are turning into dust, and other people are turning into zombies. You have the two lead characters who are doing a bang up job. I mean, the older sister is a great actress. The younger one is very good. She's been in a bunch of horror movies, but she plays the role nicely as being kind of spoiled. But then she gets to have her moment of existential crisis when it does sink in that everyone is dead. When she allows
She's adorable.
Oh yeah. She allows that.
But she just is like, you know, like she's younger, but not like too much younger. Like so, but like she's just so like bubbly. Like, and I love her for that.
And but that's what they want to do, because she's bubbly because that's her personality. But she also has learned to cope with like stressors in her life, and the way she copes is to be bubbly, is to be, I don't want to say shallow, but like, you know, you kind of over like extra happy and nothing bothers her and stuff.
And they also wanted to put, like, as you were saying, they wanted to put people in like different colors. So like the one who was supposed to be like more, you know, kind of a little bit older and more mature, she had darker colors, and they wanted to like put brighter colors on her, like for those characteristics. Yeah,
and those are choices, and it works, right? So we have all this bonkers stuff. We meet a guy. The radio station bit was such a neat redirect. I didn't see that coming, that it was recording. We meet the Spanish guy, or the Mexican guy probably. Whatever. The Mexican, he's Mexican, and you know, they're like a little group trying to survive, and we're going through the LA scenes, and then suddenly, boom, hard cut to underground scientific lab. What the hell? With no warning, like that was involved. Just suddenly, boom, we're in a lab, and I'm like, what? It was like the beginning of Cabin in the Woods. Everyone see Cabin in the Woods?
Yeah.
Right? So it's like the beginning of it is all these people in a lab, and then it says Cabin in the Woods, and you're like, what is happening? Yeah. So there was such a hard, stark cut that normally I would say that's lazy, but I was digging it because the movie is trying to keep me off balance a lot. And the fact that he introduced this thing that they'll have to deal with at some point was, I don't know, that was really cool. They pulled it off. They shouldn't have been able to.
I can't believe when the scientist people were like, "Oh, I love working with kids." Yeah, me too. Like they're about to kill them. I love working with kids. So it's kind of funny.
And you know, and they're taking it very matter of fact. Like, look, your sister's dead. Yes. You're gonna be dead soon. Like, because they killed her.
They were just like, "Where's my sister? She's dead." I can assure you that it was painless. You know, like it was freaking painless. And she's like, "Excuse me."
Yeah, I love guys. How great is the idea? Radio is an audio medium.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why is it like made up in the 80s, like neon, like it's a nightclub? Right? It's set up.
Radio station.
It's set up, right?
Yeah.
Nobody sees radio.
I figured that was always for like entertaining. You know what I mean? Like people that would come to the studio.
Well, I just thought it was like I thought it was meant for the audience. Like, look how cool this radio station is, and it's like, oh yeah, and nobody would actually see it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because in town, like in Rhode Island or whatever, like if you actually got to a radio station, it was pretty dull. Like except for gold records on the wall and. Rock, pictures of, like them posing with Gene Simmons or something, but
it's an office building, basically.
That mall scene never made much sense to me either because the girls, like, okay, these are young guys and these are pretty young girls and there's supposedly hardly anybody left on the entire planet and all they want to do is, like, torture them and I guess it just proves how crazy they were becoming because they were becoming zombie-ish, and they were becoming evil, but I was like, that's what they want to do is just torture these two girls for literally no reason whatsoever. Like, I mean, they may never see another girl ever again.
I tend to agree, and that's was one of my problems. Now, I did think this movie wasn't super great, and it does have some problems. They had the big mall scene, which went on a little too long. I didn't need to hear the whole song. And you're right, Melanie. They finally have these like weird zombie guys that capture them and kind of torture them, and then eventually they make their way free. Basically making the entire mall scene kind of for no reason. Like, it didn't really do anything. Am I wrong? I don't think it did anything.
I think it just lightened up the film a lot and because she was having a bad day at that time and she was thinking about her friends that were gone. And so she's like, let's go shopping. We don't need a credit card.
Right. So while I liked the scene and it pointed to what, like I said, the director said, what would you do? I'd go shopping. Yeah. The fact of the matter is, you didn't need the scene, and that's when I started. Even though I liked the scene, right around that part of the movie, I started getting a little bored with the movie.
That was one of my favorite scenes when I was younger. I liked that scene a lot.
Yeah.
But then the stuff I didn't like as much was when they were in the underground stuff. That was a little slow to me.
So you thought the underground stuff was pointless?
No, I knew it wasn't pointless, but I just felt like it was kind of slow and a little bit boring.
Yeah, sure. I agree that it did slow down, and that was my problem with the movie, is that it had a lot of good ideas, and I think it tried to execute them, but I don't. It's almost like you could do the movie without the mall scene, and it would have been the same outcome, or without the underground scientist scene, and you maybe would have had the same outcome. It almost like it kind of lost some of its direction.
You didn't really need the scientist people.
No, nor do you really need the mall thing.
I don't think you needed them at all because that was just a group, like one group of people that were affected for something and that was trying to get them. But if you cut that entire part out, everything, like you said, would have really been the same. They were just trying to survive. And but I also thought they kind of threw the guns away a little bit early because it'd be almost like a Walking Dead situation for anybody that was like basically still alive. It's almost like everybody wants what you have. Do you know what I mean? Like everybody wants the last food, the good whatever. I mean, so and there could be some why would the zombies just fade away just because it rained? The dust is gonna run down the drains, but the zombie people aren't just gonna fade away just because it rained.
Right.
So as soon as like it rained, everybody was all happy and it was all picture day and everyone's all nice and they're throwing their trash, the guns away in the trash. And me and my mom were like, they're kind of throwing those away a little early. Why wouldn't you want to keep those just in case? Like. Right. You think you'd want some guns just in case.
There's going to be, I imagine the reason they're not turning into zombies because they were in either a steel or lead enclosure when the comet came by. Yeah. Statistically speaking, out of 8 billion people, they're probably not going to be the only 3. Exactly. In fact, there's probably going to be some dudes like men and women
in truck drivers.
The truck drivers or people inside NORAD. Like there's always people in NORAD or aircraft carriers or like oh, that's not the point. The point is that's not the point.
It got you guys to like, it got me. I don't know, I'm not gonna speak for you, but it got me to go, good, that bitch is dead. Like the mother the mother figure. Like she like, because that's like a stepmom, right? That the blonde girl, this blonde sister,
Doris,
mouths off to her, and then the girl, like she slaps her back, and then the girl literally punches the young girl in the face. You punch a kid in the face, have a good day.
Yeah.
See you later. Like I'm not gonna feel bad for you. Listen, I'm talking
Exactly.
about like in
I like
movie
when she
land. I'm
answers
like,
that, or Stu.
can't wait till that bitch dies. Like so. No,
Yeah.
when I'm watching a movie like that, so it's
Yeah,
like,
sure.
also the people, whoever's up at the, in the labs that are like saying like, oh, talking to the little kids, they're like, oh guys, I have the greatest line ever. So we're like, if you inhale this, you can go see Santa Claus. We're going to the North Pole. You're gonna go to sleep, and that's where you'll wake up. And my favorite line is the little girl goes, "My mom told me to never breathe anything from strangers."
Yeah.
He says that?
I don't know. My parents told me never to breathe anything from strangers.
I never even really. Oh my god, that's so funny.
Well, you don't hear her. You don't see her say it. You hear her as they're focusing in on somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Like
That's
like
funny.
some. Yeah.
I love when they put a
That's pretty
sign
great.
above the two girls and it said "Going to see Santa."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
That was
And they're
cute.
laughing hysterically.
Yeah, I love that. I noticed something. So my mom did too, so when you remember when they go back to the house, well, when the older sister goes back to the house and she's walks right by the front of the stairs and she goes in the kitchen where the younger sister is. There's literally, I remember looking at the carpet going, oh my god, look at this 80s carpet. I was really looking at wallpaper, carpet, everything. And then the next thing you know, when the two sisters are walking out, there's a leash there, the collar with a pile of dust right in front of the stairs. And we were like, that was not there before. And I go, I know that was not there before because I was looking at the carpet. So I rewound it. That leash was like, it was supposed to look like their little dog, Muffy or Buffy or whatever. Buffy, I think, was like, got killed right there. And I'm like, no, that was not there. Like they just added that the next time and thought, oh, let's just add a dog right here. And they won't notice that it wasn't there before.
Well, to the key.
Well, it took
eye
you
of
what,
knowing-
20 plus years, 30 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To notice,
true, right?
like they're like, it'll be 2023 by the time somebody notices.
Yeah.
And I think with the amount of smog that's in LA, I don't think they used any color filters for this movie.
Oh yeah, that red.
Oh my
red
god,
filter.
very red.
But
Holy
how
smokes.
terrible was that special effect when they showed the city and the lightning?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
What are you gonna do?
Cartoon. It was a
No,
cartoon.
I'm not. I just like I gotta call it out.
Oh, sure.
It's just pretty funny though. It was good. It was fun.
All right.
Yeah. Want to go to the TMI?
Let's go to TMI.
There was.
Are we sure? Because she said
Yeah. No. I remember thinking to myself when I was watching it. When there's you only have your sister left in this world, and she separates from her sister. Remember, she was like one of them went in the
with the
helicopter.
helicopter.
You
Yeah.
don't do that. Like you just never.
No.
You would never ever separate from. You never separate ever.
Yeah.
You don't know if you're ever going to see that person ever again, and that is the only person in the world you have left. And you're gonna be like, bye. I'll see you
Yeah.
later. You don't know.
Fred
if you can
from
trust
Scooby-Doo.
anybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fred from Scooby Doo. Let's split up.
Yeah.
That's all
I
you
was
ever
gonna
said.
do that,
I was
'cause
like,
remember
why would they do
thinking
that?
do that.
That's
Yeah,
a terrible
exactly.
idea.
Yeah. Okay.
It's time for TMI with Melanie.
Listen to this. I am in the bathroom right before the movie starts. And I'm in the stall, and there's no toilet paper.
And mine are at home in a display case above my bed.
TMI, my friends.
TMI?
Too much information.
Don't go there, but that's lame.
Now, here's Melanie with your timeless movie info.
I love that bumper.
All right, Melanie, turn us
love
to
that bumper.
dust with that info.
Hit it.
Okay. All right. So the budget was $700,000. This is okay. I can't wait. Actually, I can't wait to do the next movie with the budget. But anyway, the budget was $700,000 and it grossed $14.4 million. So it made a good amount of money there. The waving clown and the first shots that was in Los Angeles is the same exact one that was in Pee Wee Herman. And the one where Pee Wee Herman rides his bike in 1985.
I noticed it.
And then the clown gets stolen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed, and I said the same thing. I was like, oh my god.
Okay, so when cheerleader Samantha Belmont, Kelly is playing at their radio station as a disc jockey, she says that she is taking requests from all you Teenage Mutant comic zombies. This was actually the original title of the film. She also kept a cheerleader outfit, and she was also
Can
a
I
cheerleader.
stop that?
Yeah.
Sorry. Just I do
Oh.
want to say, Michael Bowen is the guy at the beginning that has sex with
Okay.
the girl from Last Starfighter. Okay, Michael Bowen
Yeah.
is the actor. Michael Bowen played in Valley Girl. Okay, they're in the valley, playing Valley Girls.
Yeah. When
she picks up a record, she tilts it sideways, but I can still recognize the cover of Valley Girl, and she throws it.
Oh, all right.
I was like, there you go. I was like, that's pretty cool. And it was subtle. Cool. Like, so if you don't really recognize the cover of that movie, it's hard to pick up. But I thought it was pretty cool.
She kept the cheerleader outfit too, and she was also a cheerleader in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Kelly also improvised the Uzi line that you guys were talking about. So when the weapon jammed, it actually jammed for real. And the director told the cast to react to any unexpected occurrences, since time and budget were tight and they needed to avoid retakes. Also, when Samantha's arguing about with her stepmother Doris, the actress Sharon Farrell, that slapped Kelly in the beginning there, she said that she wanted to make sure she got the right reaction, didn't want to waste time and slow down the budget. So she asked Farrell to actually slap her for real. Chance Boyer, who plays the little boy Brian, is actually the real-life son of actress Sharon Farrell. So that's Doris's son for real. The little boy that they rescue from the scientist people.
Yep.
During the crowd scenes in the beginning, there's a brief shot of LL Cool J on a microphone. Did not notice that. Regina Catherine Mary Stewart is an expert video arcade game in this movie. And she also was in another film that you were talking about, The Last Starfighter in 1984, which she is also another expert in video games. When Regina and Larry spend the night in the theater in the production booth, a movie is playing, and the audio of that is Night of the Living Dead, obviously with zombies in 1968. And then one of the posters in the production room in the theater for this movie says Red Dust 1932, and everyone who is exposed for the comet turns into red dust. So they put those two things in there. That's it.
That's cool. Excellent. So now, Final Judgment.
It's time now for Final Judgment. Are you ready to rubber stamp this bitch? Here's the Final Judgment.
All right, it's time for Final Judgment, where we talk about not just opinion anymore, but fact. This movie is loaded with scientific fact.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I'll go. Can I go quick? So I don't think it holds up. I think it doesn't hold up because you could remake this movie with the problems that concern a modern audience. So the problems that the girls face in the movie are very Reaganomic 1984 specific. And I don't think that translates to now. I don't think their problems would be the problems we would think about if suddenly it were the Omega Man in 2023. For that reason, I don't think it holds up. And I also just think it's got a lot of neat ideas, and it does challenge you to watch it at times about seeing new things and weird things. I don't think it executes that perfectly. So I'd say remake this movie. I say remake this movie for now. The same ideas, teenagers still, but you gotta revamp it for today's problems. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
I'll go because I'm gonna say I'll go ahead, Jay.
No, that's all right. Go ahead.
All right. I was just gonna say I agree. So I love this movie. I always have, and I own it on DVD. But I would have to agree and say that it doesn't hold up for many, many reasons. Especially like you were saying, I think that if the mall was such a huge thing when we were younger, I don't think that's the first place any of our kids would go. If
they go to the Apple store.
Yeah.
Let's go get all the Apple stuff. Yeah, who knows? But there's no internet, so.
I'm joking. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, but yeah, I agree. I would love to see this remade, 100%.
Yep.
And I'm just gonna say one piece of trivia that I have later on for the next movie. I don't know if I can do that or not, but they want to remake Night of the Creeps, and I love exactly that way that movie is from top to bottom. This is the movie that needs to be remade.
Yep.
So I was kind of surprised nobody thought of doing that, because this movie, I love this movie, but I think it would be great remade as well.
Yep.
So I'm going to say no, it doesn't hold up, but I love it.
Cool.
All right. I'm going to say the same. It does not hold up because just like things in general, like people would watch this and go, oh my God, look at this. Like, you know, like it really, and like I said, the radio station was like an 80s neon extravaganza. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
No need for that today. So like people wouldn't look at it and go, ooh, you know, that really fits in. You know, the thing, it was, but it was still an enjoyable film. So I wouldn't say that people wouldn't have fun watching it. They would, but they would also look at it and go, "Whoa, like this doesn't relate." But like it's still doable. It's still fun. Yeah. So I wouldn't not recommend it.
I think it's very slightly a meta movie. I think it knows it's a movie because it picks on itself, particularly with the Valley Girl stuff, but without being overt about it, which I think was very clever because it's very subtly meta. So that's cool. All right. Hey,
wait.
Night of the Creeps? What?
Yes.
Wait, no, not yet. No.
What?
We're at the drive-in, folks. We are at the drive-in, and it is a creature double feature. So, you don't just get right to the movie, okay? Listen up.
We go get our snacks?
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Now, if the copyright people don't kill us for that,
Yeah.
No, I'm saying that I hope I get to play
We should have got snacks. We should have brought snacks.
I know.
Right.
Yeah. Unfortunately, as a sign of the times, today's version of that is Nicole Kidman saying, "Because here they're real." So let's move on to Night of the Creeps. Now, this is a movie. I don't know that
hoping you would like it because I liked it so much.
I liked it. I don't know that I'm ever going to watch Night of the Comet again. I didn't like it that much. Night of the Creeps I could watch. I could watch that a few, not heavy rotation, but I could watch it a few times. So let's get into...
Neither one of you has seen it, right?
No, I had not seen it.
No, but you know what? I got to say, Wendy and I were both saying, minus having a bunch of clowns, it has the same kind of a campy vibe as Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
No, it does not. That's a lie.
Yes, it does.
You're all wrong.
You're
wrong.
Yeah.
You're wrong.
Okay,
Absolutely
fine.
not.
Okay, fine. You ready?
Your opinion,
I got
your
one for
opinion's
you
wrong.
and one for you.
Attaboy.
It
W.
does nothing like Killer Clowns.
No, it does. It's totally campy. It's like everybody kind of acts kind of like this. They're all bad acting on purpose or something. It was really weird.
No,
it's good. I liked it.
All B movies, but it wasn't. It's different. It's so different.
I know. I didn't say it was that. I didn't say it was exact.
Hey, let me say the goddamn line, will you? Night of the Creeps.
Suck it, bitches.
Night of the Creeps, 1986, rated R, 1 hour and 28 minutes. Alien. Oh, this one's even better. Alien brain parasites entering humans through the mouth turn their hosts into a killing zombie. Some teenagers start to fight against them. Written and directed by Fred Decker, starring Jason Lively, Tom Atkins, the venerable Tom Atkins, Jill Whitlow, Steve Marshall, and a host of others. Oh, David Paymer, who was the Ben & Jerry's guy from City Slickers, is in this movie.
Yes.
And Rum Raisin.
And Jason Lively, the lead actor, his sisters are you got Robin Lively, who played in Karate Kid 3, the redhead.
Okay.
And she was in Cobra Kai, and also Blake Lively is his other sister. And she's famous.
God. Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
All right, so look, I'm gonna get into this movie. Is fantastic, and the reason it's fantastic, it's warming up to be Monster Squad. I've never seen Monster Squad. I think we have to do Monster Squad.
I'd like to see that. I have.
I hear it's like a gateway drug for kids that want to watch horror movies. This one can't be Monster Squad because of the ridiculous and gratuitous nudity that only happens once or twice, but still. So it's not for kids, but Monster Squad, it kind of like skirts the line a little bit. But this movie, now I was reading, I'm not going to steal your thunder here. I was reading about the director, and that he's, just from IMDb, saying he's a big fan of classic Universal monsters and comic books. And this movie, to me, reeks of classic Hollywood horror. It's absolutely all over it. It's a comic book in and of itself. It has that the way that the credits roll in this movie takes you out of your element because they go up. The typecast of creeps is straight out of the 50s. And the actors are, I love these two guys because they're nerds. They don't belong. It's almost like back to school before it was back to school. They're nerds. They're not gonna, like, one of them, I don't know how to, paralyzed. What do we want to say? The kid with the crutches.
Handicap.
Handicap. Thank you. I didn't want to say like an inappropriate word inadvertently. So
I
he's
have on that.
Yeah, he's handicapped, and the other one is not handicapped, and they're best friends, and they both know that, like, the chances of them being amorous with anybody is nil. And man, the hero's journey they both go on, and the fact that, like, this movie starts with men in rubber suits on a spaceship shooting an experiment out, and there's like subtitles in alien language, and next thing you know, Tom Atkins is drunk saying "thrill me." Like, this movie is all over the place, and it's entertaining from go. So I want you guys to tell me more. I'm gonna keep gushing.
Well, I'll just say, I want to say that, like, it could have you with those weird aliens at the beginning.
Yeah,
they risked a lot with people going, "Fuck this."
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I was worried.
Like when those naked alien people were running around, like with the subtitles, I was like,
"Yep,
yeah."
I was like, I know it's gonna get better. I'm just gonna keep watching. But like other people could have just instantly went, "No, I'm out." Like weird alien people, they look really odd.
And Ronnie's never seen it, so when me and my mom were watching, I'm like, "You want to watch this with us?" And he's like, "No, sounds stupid." And I'm like, "Let's come over here." So I rewound it, and I purposely tried not to rewind it as much to see the little alien guys. So I was just gonna tell him, look, there were some aliens that threw some stuff out of the spaceship, and then, but the next thing you know, like I rewound it too much, and he was like, oh, "What the heck is this?" And I'm like, "No, seriously, just it'll get better."
It's really good because like, it's got people you care about in it. Like, you care about Tom Atkins, you care about the two guys, you hate the fraternity dudes. You like the woman that he's got a crush on. Like,
and the girl,
yeah,
the blonde lady that turns, like, she opens the door and she goes, "Brad's here."
Yeah,
she's from Weird Science. She's the blonde girl from Weird Science, and the lead actress is also in Weird Science.
Right.
She is?
I looked.
Yeah, she's the girl at the perfume counter. She's at the perfume counter and goes, "Are you buying something for your mom?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "I don't think so, Sue." You know, like there's like spraying perfume and shit.
Yes. Oh my God, I didn't recognize her in it. I thought it was funny when they were talking about the guys from college there, and he's like, "The man has one continuous eyebrow."
Yeah.
That little line. I thought this movie was so cute.
There's a lot of absolutely. There's a lot of subtle humor in this movie that is bananas. Like, the movie's bananas. There are slugs which you can see on fishing line. You saw it, right? Okay. Didn't care. I didn't care. Whatever. And the director saw it, and they didn't care either. So, because, you know, it's like, it's paying homage to, like, low budget horror as far as,
like Ed Wood.
yes, exactly. Like, it's paying homage to that. And it's got all this really subtle humor, and I can't even remember most of it, but like I found myself laughing, and I found it endearing when they would lighten it up without having to go to the mall. I'm not picking on Night of the Comet. I'm just saying they could lighten it up in the movie by doing these light moments, or by the way that the handicapped kid didn't care about what he said to anybody, because his attitude was, what are you gonna, like, why am I getting my, like, he's the least afraid of all of them.
Well, you know what, he could have the attitude of, I've already, you know, been beaten down in life by everybody else. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have this disability, which kind of, you know, it, no matter what you think, maybe there's a lot of tolerant people, but there's also people that are dicks. You know, they're going to treat him like shit. So he's probably like get the thicker skin. So he's ready to just go, "Hey, I'm just going to go out there and say, screw it. I'm going to talk to this girl for you." You know?
I just can't believe somebody kicked his crutch. Like, I remember reading that. I'm like, who in the world would do that? I know
they did it in Shazam.
I just can't believe it. What?
Yeah.
Shazam?
They did it in Shazam.
I didn't see it.
Not either. 33% of the population.
Zachary Levi.
He's so good. I didn't see it. So, but wait a minute. Back to the handicapped kid. So look, his deal, like, they set him up, and this is why the movie is beautifully directed. And, like, it sets things up and it pays it off. And he and the friend, you know, the handicapped. I'm sorry, I'm not blanking on the character names. It doesn't matter. Like, they are tight. Now, at some point, by the way, alien slugs go in your mouth and take over. Thank you. JC. Alien slugs go in your mouth and take over your brain. You become a vengeful zombie. So a zombie so that you can basically spread the parasite to other people via slugs. So the slugs like grow in your brain, right? So at some point, this is what's happening to everybody on the college campus. And the handicapped kid, and he has a fight with his best friend because they're best friends, and best friends fight because whatever. I mean, that's not perfect, and that's fine. Like, they still respect each other, but they can have a conversation and say, you're pissing me off, and here's why. And then they make up. But the fact of the matter is, at one point, the friend's in danger, and there's the scene in the bathroom when the handicapped kid is cornered by all the alien slugs.
Yeah.
And he does get a slug in the mouth, and then he has enough, because you start to lose your mental faculties slowly. So he leaves a tape for his friend in his dorm with scribbled, I forget what it says, please play
me,
like in bad handwriting. And you hear him and you don't even see it. You have to listen to him say, he gives him the lowdown, and he says, for the first time I walked without anybody's help, because he's being controlled by slugs. And my heart absolutely sank at that moment, because he's like, I'm about to die and I finally got to walk on my own. What? This is in a movie called Night of the Creeps that starts with an alien shoving an experiment out. Like, it starts so silly, but it's got this weird, strong heart to it that I was digging. And the same with Tom Atkins' character. He sounds like he's going to be just kind of an asshole drunk cop, and then you realize what his problems are.
Yeah.
So that by the end of the movie,
I love a whole other set of problems. I like that there was that too. You got a lot of stuff going on. You got aliens that drop something down, and then that happened in the 50s. And then so you've got the 50s guy that had the slugs in him. Now he's in that that freezing tank thing, and they've kept him alive. And then so you've got that going on. You got the date, which was the cop's old girlfriend, being hacked with an axe by some old guy. Which I loved when they were like, she's sitting in the car and they're like, newsflash, like this guy escaped from this crazy hospital, basically. I don't know about. And she's right in front. She's like, and he's going down highway whatever, and she looks up and it's like the signs right there. Yep. But I like that they got that going on, and so they've got like the alien thing going on. They've got the relationship at college and all that stuff going on. They got the cops past. I don't know, a lot of stuff. I thought it was pretty cool.
And the fact that it starts in the 50s, so it's an homage to 50s horror, no doubt about it. And Melanie, I thought you were bringing up something different, but at the beginning, no, it's okay. We were talking about like the radio coming on, and at the beginning where the man sitting in his car hearing about a report about something dangerous, about a maniac going loose. And in every old movie, just don't even finish it. Just click. Don't worry about that. Click. In my neighborhood, there's a maniac. Click the radio off. Probably not going to happen to me.
And
that's
all points
so
bulletin.
Old movie. An APB.
All points bulletin about a guy who escaped from a mental institution with an axe.
I'm
just gonna go get laid, baby. Come on.
Yeah.
So these people are so oblivious. How many times did a zombie walk past somebody and they didn't notice because they weren't looking?
Yeah.
And not only that, but like people getting by security guards. Like, you gotta
the lead girl walks out of the door and doesn't look up.
Yes.
Yeah, like at Brad, the guy.
Down. Doesn't even look at him. Yeah, my mom's like, look at her. She's just never looks. She's just holding his hand, taking him to go sit down. Never looks at him.
Yep. How many times have you had that awkward moment when you're just? Best example is at the gym. Like, I go to the gym, right? Because I'm so swole. I'm kidding. So I go to the gym and like you're just looking around. And you look at somebody, and at that moment, they know you're looking, and no, you weren't like ogling. You're just like looking around at people. You can't look at the floor the whole time. And like the moment you turn, like psychically, that other person knows to turn their head at the same time and lock eyes, and it's really like embarrassing for a moment. So then you quickly look at the floor, even though nothing was going on. Like, how many times like you're looking at someone, and then they suddenly look at you, or someone's looking at you, and you look back, and they were looking at you. Not bad, just like someone's looking at you. Why doesn't this happen in this movie? There are people just like walking right behind people. Forget it. Don't worry about it. As long as you're not looking, it doesn't matter. It didn't happen.
I always loved the quote, and I always remembered the quote that he was like, girls, we have good news. Your dates are here. Bad news is they're all dead. Like,
They're all
Right.
dead.
that's
And the
pretty
bus
cute.
driver. Did you see the bug eyes when he went to go hit the car?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see
I
his
remember.
eyes bug out? They bugged out like a cartoon.
Oh, nice.
Right before he turned into the. Let's see if I can find it while you guys are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you guys know there was 2 different endings to this movie?
No, I did not.
I always remembered both endings. My mom did too, and my DVD has both of them. So, which ending did you guys see?
I saw the one where Tom Atkins blows up the house with all the slugs in the basement.
Okay.
And
But what
I
happened
saw the creeps pop out of him and go
Oh, yes.
to. They went into the cemetery and the alien ship showed up.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
yeah, I
is that
saw
what you
that.
saw? That's what you
I
saw?
saw the alien ships at the end.
Okay, so that was one ending. The alternate ending was the house just blows up and everyone's standing outside looking, and the cop never comes walking back out because he blew up in the house.
Yeah.
So that little black and white dog, that little fluffy black and white dog that got on the bus full of the dates that were showing up for the prom.
Yeah.
So they're all hugging and they're all happy. And then all of a sudden the little black and white dog shows up and she goes, "Oh, look." And she bends down to pat him. And the slug comes flying out and goes into her. Like,
Okay.
it doesn't show him actually go into her mouth, but she was like, "Oh, look." And she's like face to face and the slug comes flying out right to her face. So that
That's
was
cool.
another alternate ending.
So on the ending that I can't really see. Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
you remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yes, yeah.
Hey, you know what I find? I can always get a blowtorch a flamethrower whenever I
Yeah.
need to.
Yeah.
Anyway, so wait a minute.
From Dick Miller.
Dick Miller's the best.
So what ending do you guys like? Because I just
I like
told you
the
with that. Which one do you like?
I like
the
the one
best?
I saw. I
When
like
you
seeing
saw
the
it?
spaceship again.
Is it because you just saw it, or is it because?
It sounds.
Well,
it
we
seems
can't
to
really
make-
compare it. Like you're describing it, but like seeing it, it's another ball game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the question I have is, the slugs.
I like that ending too, though. I like
the
both.
creeps all find their way. Some got out and find their way to the cemetery.
Yeah.
And the
and now
aliens
the
come.
aliens are looking for them.
Yeah, the aliens are looking for them. Was there a Night of the Creeps 2?
I don't remember if I've seen a Night of the Creeps 2, but when I was doing trivia, something did pop up that said Night of the Creeps 2, and I never clicked on it. So I don't know if they made one or not.
Okay, that's cool.
I just saw it for a second. Somebody said something like Night of the Creeps 2 Zombie Town.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen, if there is one. It wouldn't be like this though.
I'm sure it was, probably made for TV.
I like the relationship, like you were saying, between the two kids. And I remember when the cop brings them in and he's talking to him about taking that, what'd you do with the body? We know that this was a prank for college. He's like, we didn't do it, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, he's lying. We did it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, right out of the gate. He's like, don't even. Like, we did
Yeah.
it. Like, the fact that we're here, we're under suspicion. Just tell them everything. Because
Yeah.
they didn't, the only thing they did wrong was break in.
Yeah.
They didn't actually steal. So if you got nothing to lie about, don't just tell them the truth.
And did you notice everybody kept saying headless corpse found on the college campus? It was in the newspaper, headless corpse found.
Yeah.
And then they were talking about, why is a headless corpse found? These people were never headless at all. Their heads were there and the little slugs popped out the center here. They were never headless. So that kind of bugged me that like every 2 seconds they're like headless corpse, headless corpse. They weren't headless.
The media.
Night of the Creeps 2 Zombie Town was in 2007.
Really? All right.
See, that's how freaking stupid things are. Like, it's like, guys, don't.
20 years. Stop.
Come up with your own name.
Yeah.
Like do another thing. Like just another. If you want to base it on like a similar vibe, go ahead. But like for instance, Night of the Comet. It's been done before, but they made it their own thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I hate to see this because it says part of my trivia where they're saying producer director James Wan announced in January 2023, so this year, that he basically wanted to do a remake of this movie. And I'm like, no, go remake Night of the Comet. Leave Night of the Creeps just the way it is. It's too perfect.
Because Night of the Creeps is again, it's an old movie shoved into a 1980s frame. It is literally an older film. It is a Universal monster film that's been shoved into the middle 1980s, and it's perfect as is. That's
and
what I
it's
think.
perfect as a drive-in movie, like we were doing
100%.
double features. It just seems like a drive-in movie.
Oh yeah, 100%. So
yeah,
Jay, TMI, we're at about 30 minutes on that.
No, the way you sort of went, Jay. Like,
I know.
Did I miss Final Judgment? What the
No,
fuck?
you didn't.
I just had my phone for a second.
Yeah.
Did we not do this one as long as the other one?
It's about 30 minutes. We started this at 35.
Yeah, it's,
It's time for TMI with Melanie.
Listen
Again.
to this. I am in the bathroom right before the movie starts.
Uh-huh.
And I'm in the stall, and there's no toilet paper.
And mine are at home in a display case above my bed.
TMI, my friends. TMI? Too much information. Don't go there, but that's lame.
Now, here's Melanie with your timeless movie info.
Love that bumper. I absolutely love
All
that
right,
bumper.
Melanie, slug it out.
Hit it.
Okay, so first I want to say I'm glad you guys liked this movie because I've always loved it. I'll have to show you what the DVD cover looks like. Anyway, so this estimated budget this is horrible. You know how the other one was only $700,000 for an estimated budget and it made $14.4 million? This movie's better, and the budget was $5 million and it only grossed like $591,000.
Really?
That's sad.
That's too
I hate
bad.
that. Yeah,
That's
I hate
too
it.
bad.
And that's a weird title if you're going to ask me my truth on that. The title
Night
is
of the
really
Creeps?
odd.
Mm.
Yeah,
Night
it's
of the
not
Creeps?
it's not the most inviting thing in the world.
Sure.
Yeah, 'cause you don't know what
I'm
you're
not
seeing.
knocking it down. I'm talking
Yeah.
about like a regular, casual person that sort of likes horror.
Yeah.
Maybe not like like going out of their way, but I'm saying like they like it, they enjoy it. They hear that name like, I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah. Maybe it
I'll
was the name
pass.
that a lot of people didn't go see it because of that. But
I mean,
know,
it's
love
no
it.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space, but
I see a similar vibe, so you can suck it and bite and,
Oh,
and do all this.
I don't feel any
Not at
similar
all.
vibe at
Not at
all.
Well, no
Oh.
shit, you hate it. We got it. You guys suck, and there's no
Jay,
debating it.
It's
It
no
was
clue.
fun to make fun of.
It's no clue, but
I liked doing it. Okay, so the script was written within 1 week. Lots of little Easter eggs for this one, like I was saying. All the last names of the main characters are based on famous horror and sci-fi directors. George A. Romero for Chris Romero. John Carpenter and Toby Hooper for James Carpenter Hooper. David Cronenberg for Cynthia Cronenberg. James Cameron for Detective Ray Cameron. John Landis for Detective Landis. Sam Raimi for Sergeant Raimi. And Steve Miner, Mr. Miner, is the janitor, actually. All right. So when leaving the house of the mother's cottage, one of the police officers mentions that getting in contact with the officers Dante and how do you say this guy's name? Dante and De Palma.
De Palma.
And that was named after directors Joe Dante from Gremlins and The Howling and Brian De Palma from Carrie.
Okay.
And so if you're going to talk about Joe Dante, he and Dick Miller are like,
like that.
Like this.
Oh, okay.
He's in Gremlins. Dick Miller's the next door neighbor in Gremlins who hates pretty much every race except for his own.
He's in the Burbs. He's the garbage.
He's
man
in the Burbs as the trash man.
Yeah. All right. So Corman University is also a reference to the director-producer Roger Corman.
That's right. Oh my God. All right. Yeah.
The cat as well. Gordon the cat was named after film producer
Stuart Gordon.
Gordon Carroll. Actually.
Oh, I figured Stuart
Gordon Carroll.
All right.
Graffiti, we were talking about on the wall of the men's room where JC is trying to escape the number of slugs reads Go Monster Squad. The Monster Squad is in 1987, was also directed by Fred Decker, which I think is crazy because it came out so many years later. Apparently he knew he was going to make that movie.
Yep.
Also, it has this, and I noticed this. I literally noticed this. It also has the same dead guys do not get up and just walk away by themselves. Same exact line that's in
Monster Squad.
Of 1987, yeah. Fred
Wait.
Decker included. Go ahead.
Sorry. Next to JC in the bathroom, it said Striper rules.
It does.
I saw that.
Striper rules. So
Yeah.
To hell with the devil.
Let's see. Fred Decker included every B movie click that he could think of and insisted on directing the script himself. He also wanted to do the entire film in black and white. Phil's Diner has become something of a signature for Fred Decker. He has been included it somehow in all of his movies since this. At the beginning of the film, the sorority house, Pam's roommate is talking on the phone with a friend and asks her if she's ever seen Plan 9 from Outer Space, 1957. The movie, directed and written by Ed Wood, is also in the movie that the house mother's watching on TV.
Yep.
When I didn't see this either. Greg Nicotero and Howard Berger play zombie extras.
I saw Berger. I didn't see Greg. I saw Berger.
Really?
Yep. I don't know who you're talking about.
He's KMB Effects is Berger, Nicotero, and I forget the other one, but they're in charge of any zombie effects.
Yeah, Greg Nicotero's in like everything.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I saw Howard Berger. He's been in all this stuff. He's got a big mustache.
I don't know if I would have recognized him, but if I knew that Greg Nicotero was in it, I probably would have recognized him.
Yeah.
The spaceship model was used later in an episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine in '93. A fair share of this film was shot in an old Woolworths department store that was converted into a makeshift studio. Here's one on the handicapped kid, JC. When Fred Decker was asking during an interview why JC, Steve Marshall, had to be handicapped, or why he is handicapped, he replied, "There's no reason for it except that we just don't see it much. You can make a movie with a character who's handicapped without having the story be about the fact that he's handicapped." That's cool. Which is good. Yeah.
Yep. That's cool.
Tom Atkins' favorite movie of his own, and his idea that he stopped to smell the rose.
And they close up on the rose after the house blows up.
Yep.
They have a quick shot of the rose so that he knew that was the last thing he was going to do. That's very subtle for a horror movie called Night of the Creeps. He knows he's going in to die, and he's going to stop to smell the rose. That's good shit, man. That's good stuff. So anyway, all right. Final Judgment time.
Let Jay go first this time.
It's time now for Final Judgment. Are you ready to rubber stamp this bitch? Here's the Final Judgment.
All right. It's time for Final Judgment once again. Twice in one night.
Holy shit.
Oh, my God. What are we going to do?
I can't believe it's time to do Final Judgment. But
very good impression.
Are there two?
Okay, so you're gonna. It's one of those things. It's a lot of fun to watch. I mean, I guess in aspects it holds up. In some ways it doesn't. I mean, you look at the. I guess it's designed, to not look like it's in the finest quality with the slugs. Yeah. By the way, a movie with a bunch of slugs is not my first choice to go and watch because I would find that to be kind of gross. You know what I mean? Especially going into your mouth, coming out of your mouth. That's a. By the way, apologies everybody. Earlier in the week, I lost too much sleep, and my voice has not recovered. I don't know. No, I don't know if you can hear. It's very dry, no matter what.
I thought you sounded fine.
All right. So, anyways, I can cut that out, right? Beep. Right. So, anyways, no. So, I don't know if it fully holds up because I mean, it's certain aspects of it as far as visuals or whatever. But I mean, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I liked it a lot. I'll give it a 50-50 on the hold up part. But it was, it was still a campy good time. Like another movie I like, but nobody likes apparently.
Yeah, but this campy
for a bunch of other people.
Now wait a minute. This campy is designed campy. Killer Clowns from Outer Space are just bad campy. See, this is designed campy on purpose.
It's all right.
So much.
Just browbeat me, okay? So I can take it. It's all right. All I have to do is turn on Universal Hollywood Horror Nights, and I can see them. People have a good time with that stuff. So I'm not alone. I just don't know the people. Actually, I think Steve likes it, so I'm all right. All right. But yeah, no, it was fun. I enjoyed both films today, and it was a good time. So,
I'll say that it holds up. I'll say it holds up because I think it's paying homage to earlier movies. I think that if he made it today, he probably still would have crappy looking slugs on strings and corpses that obviously are made of clay. I think that's the vibe they were going for. The only thing that doesn't hold up was that exquisite cummerbund scene. Oh boy. We wore tuxes like that, Jay.
Oh my God,
we absolutely did. And it was the height of fucking fashion. So those tuxes were bad. Besides that, there's nothing that dated about it. I'm not going to worry about cell phone use and whatnot. because, like I said, it's a throwback. So I think it holds up. I think you should. I think people should watch it once, and then they can make their decision on that. It's pretty good time. So yeah, I think it holds up. Melanie.
Yeah, I 100% agree, and I think I basically left out a part of the trivia. He actually liked that people were laughing in the beginning with the aliens on the spaceship. Mm-hmm. So he thought it felt like, he wanted to let people know that they could laugh at parts of it. Mm-hmm. So a lot of it was meant to be like that. And 100%, I think it is a great movie, but I also think it holds up because of all the reasons that you were saying. It's meant to be like that. And I love the beginning, how it's black and white, how it takes place in the 50s. And I kind of like the fact that he wanted to keep it in black and white too. I thought that would have been pretty cool, but I like that you can tell this is past time now because it's black and white, and now this is the time now.
Sure.
But I've shown it to other people, and they do enjoy watching it too. And I think that, I don't know, I think people would enjoy watching it if they gave it a chance. I love it.
Super. Love it. So 2 yeses and a no.
And no, I didn't say it was a no. I said it was 50-50.
Oh, fine. Then or an O. One of the two.
Yeah.
Oh, you've done it 50-50 earlier.
I've done it 50-50 a billion times.
Yeah, you're
so anyways, no, but it has nothing to do with whether I liked it or not. Wendy and I were laughing, having fun.
Yeah.
And the Jason Lively, I know him from my least favorite vacation movie.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. European Vacation.
That's where I know him from too.
Yeah, I hated that fucking movie.
It's a bad movie. It's not good.
It is the worst one.
So I'm glad to like him in this because it's not his fault. The second movie of Vacation sucked.
Mm-hmm.
But this was good. It was nice to like him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the acting was really good in it, and I think it was meant to be like that. And I don't know. I love it. It's always one that I couldn't wait to watch it. Actually,
I was really sad.
It's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
I was sad when JC, like when that thing entered his mouth. I was like, oh.
I know.
I liked him.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't want him to have anything to happen to him.
No, but
yeah.
That's
and the nerd gets the girl at the end of this movie.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nerds everywhere. Rejoice. All right.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. That was our show. I'd like to thank our guest that we didn't get one today. We didn't get one this week, so I'd like to thank them for not being here. No, I'm just kidding.
I think it would have been too hard to do 2 movies with a 4th person.
Mm-hmm.
Right. No, it's funny. I'd like to thank Steve Lavoie for our vocal imaging, and Draco and the Malfoys for our amazing theme song. And please like and subscribe to our channel. And we are on Threads as well now. I added us to that Facebook version of Twitter.
Oh,
Threads.
Okay.
All right. We're all like out of it. We're like, really? That sounds cool. We don't know what that is.
Yeah, never heard of it. Yeah, it's fairly new. Same thing. You just like basically if you're friends with people on Instagram, you can jump on there and they're like, "Hey, would you like to import everybody?" I'm like, "Sure."
All right.
So, so it's kind of cool, and yeah. So, well, listen, folks. Oh, and by the way, I just want to mention something. I'm loving the interactions. If you comment on YouTube or something like that. However, I want to point something out. I went and checked Apple, and we finally got like a 2-star, like except for we've been getting nothing but 5s. Okay. And then we finally got one that said 2, and they're like, I really Jingle All the Way was a classic, and I had to put you down as a 2 for knocking it down. I was like, Tad and I both still had a blast talking about how much we loved it a lot.
My fault.
Yeah.
So let me warn everybody at home, if you haven't figured it out. We make fun of every movie.
Yeah.
Even if we love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're gonna point stuff out. Mm-hmm. I mean, the 3 of us loved Shawshank, but we found stuff to laugh about it. It's just how we are. And one of us didn't like Jingle All the Way. It doesn't matter.
No.
There's no reason to I'm not even going to take that as a negative. You bashed us, or I don't know if they bashed us, but they still knocked us down, and gave us a 2, and it's like, have at it, Hoss. We can't please you all, and if you can't understand that we're just having some fun, then
Plus, that knocks somebody's rating all the way down, which is kind of cruel if they just didn't like one episode because they happen to like the movie.
You know what? We're still at 5, like, on the overall average. So, we got 18 that had 5.
Good.
And one that was 2, so.
And my mom still thinks I'm handsome, so, I'm just,
right.
I'm just kidding.
We're still 5 in our parents' eyes.
That's right.
Well, I'll probably make a lot of enemies when we do Halloween 3 if people like that. So I'm ready to.
That has a resurgence,
So
Halloween 3 has had a resurgence.
I'm very passionate about that movie. Super, super, super.
But do us a giant favor. Don't yell the entire episode.
Let's go ahead. We got to do that soon because I'm dying.
That's fine. But when you get heated about something, you start going like this. Chill. Like shit.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be pretty bad when we do that one. You'll have to turn my mic down.
All right. So have a great week, everybody, and until next time, movies may not age like fine wine, but we drink it anyway. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Chirp about movie.